The exponential growth of the Internet was heralded in the 1990s as revolutionizing the production and dissemination of information. Some people saw the Internet as a means of democratizing access to knowledge. For people concerned with African development, it seemed to offer the possibility of leapfrogging over the technology gap that separates Africa from advanced industrialized countries. The brain is divided into two hemispheres, the left and right hemispheres. Each hemisphere provides a different set of functions, behaviors, and controls. The right hemisphere is often called the creative side of the brain, while the left hemisphere is the logical or analytic side of the brain. Fish farms have been described as factory farms in water. Around the world, tens of billions of fish are raised on these farms, but consumers are unaware of the conditions these animals endure during their lives. Many fish farms suffer from infestations of sea lice, which eat the fish skin while they are alive.
Mass strandings of whales are a recurring issue in Australia and New Zealand. In recent years, multiple events have highlighted the severity of this problem. For instance, in April 2024, around 160 pilot whales stranded on a Western Australian beach, prompting a significant rescue operation by marine biologists and wildlife officers. Variations kept the genre alive. From the mid-19th century onwards, when mass literacy grew, adventure became a popular subgenre of fiction, although not exploited to its fullest. Adventure has seen many changes over the years, from being constrained to stories of knights in armor to stories of high-tech espionage.
Pavlov proposed over a century ago that the sight, smell, and taste of food are important for regulating digestion. More recent studies in the 1970s and 1980s have also suggested that the taste of food may restrain how fast we eat, but it's been impossible to study the relevant brain activity during eating because the brain cells that control this process are located deep in the brainstem. The consumer decision-making process is a complex and versatile thing. Everything from a client's past experiences with the product and the supplier, to their socioeconomic environment can influence their purchase decision. This means it is crucial to gain a clear insight into what all is actually influencing customers' choices. When countries assess their annual carbon dioxide emissions, they count up their cars and power stations, but bushfires are not included, presumably because they are deemed to be events beyond human control. In Australia, Victoria alone sees several 100,000 hectares burn each year. In both 2004 and the present summer, the figure has been over 1 million hectares. Traditional divisions of domestic work are understood to persist because of the strong association of the home with humanity, and paid work with masculinity. To challenge who does what in the home is arguably tantamount to challenge what it is to be a woman or a man.
Although it hails from a remote region of the western Himalayas, this plant now looks entirely at home on the banks of English rivers. Brought to the UK in 1839, it quickly escaped from Victorian gardens and colonized river banks and damp woodlands. Now it is spreading across Europe, New Zealand, Canada and the US. Although it hails from a remote region of the western Himalayas, this plant now looks entirely at home on the banks of English rivers. Brought to the UK in 1839, it quickly escaped from Victorian gardens and colonized river banks and damp woodlands. Now it is spreading across Europe, New Zealand, Canada and the US.